You're listening to Mysteries Beyond. What mysteries lie beyond the reach of our senses? And who are you in this vast multiverse? Hello and welcome to Mysteries Beyond. I'm your host, Laura Lavender. In this episode, we will be talking about 3 individual symbols associated with the occult. Well, actually 2 of them are symbols, and the other is more of a figure, a deity to many. The first symbol I want to talk about is the pentagram, more specifically, the pentacle. The pentagram is the shape of a 5-pointed star. The pentacle is the upright 5-pointed star inside of a circle. Most of us take one single look at this symbol and automatically assume that we know what it means and what it represents. And that is simply the sign of the devil. That's all we know, and that's all we need to know. Right? I was raised a Catholic, a proper traditional Roman Catholic, and in my family I had 3 uncles who became Catholic priests. And my parents, being the traditional Roman Catholics they are, made sure they abided by the canon law, and therefore I was baptized, completed my first communion, went to 2 years of catechism classes, went to confession, completed my confirmation. In addition, I went to Mass every Sunday, where I memorized the rituals, the songs, and the prayers. And somewhere in between all of that, I learned to fear the pentacle symbol, amongst other things. But see, my point is, we only fear this symbol because we are conditioned to, and because we don't understand its meaning. This symbol today is used mostly by pagans and Wiccans. The 5 points on the star represent Mother Earth and her elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And the 5th point at the top represents spirit. We are also made out of the 4 elements: air, oxygen, fire, nitrogen, water, hydrogen, and earth, carbon. It also corresponds to the 4 cardinal directions: east, south, west, and north. The circle, the universe, represents infinity, and it contains, connects, and protects them all. It is a symbol of protection, and its meaning is actually quite beautiful and comforting. Also, before the cross, in early Christianity, the Christians themselves wore this symbol, and they believed that this symbol was one of protection. The pentagram was believed to symbolize the 5 wounds of Jesus Christ on the cross. This is because it could be drawn in one continuous movement of the pen, the Alpha and the Omega as one. The beginning, the end, God has existed for all eternity and is eternal. The inverted pentagram, or pentacle, is considered to be a sign of evil because it represents an inversion of the natural order, placing matter over spirit. Next, we have Baphomet. At this point, I'm sure some of you don't know who it is I'm referring to by name, but I'm sure you've seen the images. Baphomet is the half-human, half-goat figure that the Church of Satan, founded by Anton LaVey, and that the Satanic Temple, co-founded by Lucien Greaves, have adopted. In reality, though, he is unrelated to any evil or any demons. He's actually the embodiment of duality and enlightenment. In the 1800s, French occultist Eliphas Lévy created this artistic depiction, and although he did borrow elements from the medieval tarot, the devil card, it was meant to symbolize the totality of binary opposites. The image was actually purposely meant to be grotesque, and this was done to ward off individuals who were not mentally prepared for knowledge. So, if you're unafraid, you can go into deeper knowledge. When you pull up Levy's Baphomet, you'll first notice the two-finger gestures. Its right two fingers pointing up and the left down. And this gesture alludes to the Hermetic concept, as above, so below. I spoke in more detail about this in the Law of Correspondence episode, but Eliphas Levi wrote that Baphomet expresses the perfect harmony of mercy with justice. You'll also notice the Latin terms solve and coagula written on Baphomet's arms. These translate to dissolve and coagulate, which are opposing alchemical processes. Another way it represents duality is by being androgynous, meaning being both male and female. He has one male arm and one female arm. He also has breasts and the caduceus-like image to replace the phallus. The two snakes intertwined represent the male and female coming together. And of course, you can't miss the upright pentagram on its forehead and the torch between its horns. Levi wrote that this is the flame of intelligence. It is the magic light of the universal balance, the image of the soul elevated above matter, as the flame, whilst being tied to matter, shines above it. The reason why it's half human, half goat is because there are several connections between goats and fertility. Levi himself called the figure the Goat of Mendes, as he was associated with the Egyptian goat-headed god worshipped for fertility purposes. In addition, Pan, a Greek god with goat features, was likewise commonly associated with fertility. Baphomet also represents the unity of the four elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And if you notice behind the caduceus, air is represented by the semicircle of the atmosphere, fire by the torch above his forehead, water by the fish scales, and earth by his feet being planted on the sphere of earth. Lastly, we have the symbol of the Egyptian Ankh. The Ankh is the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol resembling a cross-shaped, but with a teardrop-shaped loop on the top. This is known to be the symbol of protection, but mostly it's known as the key of life. It is representative of eternal life in ancient Egypt. Furthermore, the loop on top is representative of the female womb and the cross of the male phallus. It is said to have originated from the knot of Isis, which is also the belt of Isis, and it symbolizes fertility. This symbol means the breath of life, and it does symbolize both the mortal existence and the afterlife. It promises life after death, and therefore it represents eternal life. Well, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if so, go ahead and subscribe so that you may be notified of all other future episodes. Also, don't forget to check out our website at www.mysteriesbeyond.com and or follow us on social media on Facebook at Mysteries Beyond or on Instagram at lauralavender.mb. Lastly, if you have any questions or any feedback, or if there's anything that you simply want to share, you can email me at lauralavender.mb@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening to Mysteries Beyond. I'm your host, Laura Lavender, and I'll see you guys next episode.